I think that the Thanos snap would have a greater impact if they found a way to make it seem like half the audience just disappears. Apparently only DC movies can do that. A woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. Always wet, but nothing to ride. Confucius say, man who fishes in other man's well usually catches crabs. I just found out that Pornhub is a Canadian company. I bet if they blocked access to it in the United States, this whole trade war would end. Prematurely. A hypnotist was performing at a TED Talk in front of a huge live studio audience. Probably over 3,000 people there. He was using a pendulum. And he had the whole crowd in a hypnotic trance. When all of a sudden, the pendulum slipped out of his hand and he yells, "Shit!" It took 2 weeks to clean the place. When I was on stage one night, I said, any women in the audience who think that I'm a male chauvinist, say boo. I'm telling you, every woman in the stinking audience yelled, boo! And then I said, obedient little bitches, aren't you? I was browsing around in a liquor store the other day when an employee asked me, do you need some help? I said, yes, but I'm here to get some American whiskey instead. There's a new horror movie out about the evil offspring of adult movie stars. It's called Children of the Porn. After bombing on stage, the comedian saw audience members waiting for a turn to sock him in the face. Finally, he had a real punchline. Scotty finally got his girlfriend into bed, and things were getting hot and heavy. Slow down, baby, she said. Foreplay is an art. Well, you better get your canvas ready, he panted, 'cause I'm about to spill all of my paint. Women, when should you discourage your husband from exercising and dieting? When he wants to fit in your clothes. I had one of my first ever stand-up gigs in front of a big audience. It did not go well, unfortunately. I started into my act and some dude started to heckle me hard. He was like, hey, stupid! Yeah, guy down in the front! Yeah, you! We're trying to watch a movie over here! A friend of mine wanted to give me some foolproof formula for joke writing. He said, Toons, it's simple. Just start with a natural setup and lead the audience in one direction, then hit them with a punchline like they weren't expecting. So, here it goes. Walk forward. Turn left. Turtle.
What you talking about, Willis?
I didn't know that when I became an adult, everyone would make Friends references. So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Who remembers riding up and down Yonge Street with the windows rolled down and pumping, Can you feel it? Where are we? March 13th now? Spring is in the air. Have you noticed that some people still have their ho-ho-hos and inflatable reindeer and decorative snowman out on full display? Some people actually start right on November 1st. For me, I say don't take them down at all and just leave them up all year long and party! I asked a movie theater attendant for one admission. He said he liked wearing his wife's clothes when she wasn't home. I'm asking for a friend. Can older adults be circumcised, or is there a cutoff date? There once was a known lady of vice who charged for her pie by the slice. Famous men would holler and drop many a dollar to taste the infamous Heidi flice. Do you know why I don't make any fat jokes? Because they wouldn't be appreciated by the wider audience. At the circus, the lion tamer strolls into the caged ring where there's one huge lion. The brave tamer says to the audience, "Watch this." He then walked up to the lion, opened its mouth, and stuck his manhood right inside for a few seconds. Then he slapped the lion on the head really hard and slowly removed his pee-pee without incident. Well, the audience went wild and was very impressed, with much applause and shouts of delight. The magician exclaims, "If there's anyone out in the audience that thinks that they can do that, I'll give them $5,000 cash. Any takers?" A little old man stood up and said, "Yes, I'll have a go at it." The audience went wild with applause. "Okay," says the lion tamer, "come into the cage with me. You're very brave to give it a go. Are you afraid?" And the little old man said, "No, not really, just as long as you don't slap me as hard as you slapped the lion." A young man walks up and sits down at the bar. "What can I get you?" the bartender asks. "I want 6 shots of Jägermeister," responds the young man. "6 shots? Are you celebrating something?" asked the bartender. "Yeah, my first blowjob." "Well, in that case, let me give you a 7th shot on the house." "No offense, man, but if 6 shots can't get rid of the taste, nothing will." A little old lady, about 70 years old, walks into an adult bookstore, and she slowly shuffles herself up to the counter, her hands shaking, and she stutteringly says, "Excuse me, but I'm embarrassed." The clerk says, "Please don't be, ma'am. Human sexuality is a beautiful, natural thing. You have nothing to be embarrassed about." Trembling, she asks, "All right, do you have women's pleasure aids here, like vibrators and the dildos?" "Yes, ma'am. We have a large selection of both. And do you know much about them?" The clerk looks at her shaking form and says, "Yes, ma'am, I do, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have." To which she replies, "Great. Do you know how to shut them off?"